Hello and welcome to my channel, and if you don't know me, I am Ocean and I am a hypnotherapist, and today I will be speaking to you about whether or not suffering brings in goodness. Today I am in India actually, and I am in the cutest little cottage. But the only thing is that I didn't carry around my microphone or anything like that. So the sound quality is going to be a bit different and less good quality. But the thing is that I am learning so much here in India and in my travels that I feel like despite not having the equipment with me, I need to share these teachings and these knowledges with you. So today I'm going to talk about the teachings that I have attended of the Dalai Lama in October in Dharamshala. I was actually in Pokhara in Nepal a while back, and I heard that the Dalai Lama was going to do a teaching in a few days. So the thing is, the travel alone to go from Dharamshala to go from Pokhara to Dharamshala straight is 2 days, and I had about 3 days until I go to his teaching. And you also have to register before you go, and the registration closes a day before. So what happens is that as soon as I found out on the day, I booked a night bus to go all the way to the airport to catch a plane to India, to catch another plane, and then a 7-hour taxi just to get to Dharamshala in time to meet the Dalai Lama in one of his 3-day teachings. And in his teaching, he was actually talking about suffering and how suffering actually brings us a lot of good. So the more you suffer, the more happiness will come into your life. Now, the reason I want to talk about that is because it is an extremely controversial topic and an extremely controversial line to say. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Buddhism, but Buddhism is pretty much this. They really agree that suffering is good, that the more you suffer, the more greatness will come. And they also believe that life is nothing and you are nothing and everything is nothing, and it just means that life is powerful because of that. Very short statement on Buddhism, but Buddhism is pretty much giving up everything that is pleasurable, anything that you are attracted to, anything that you are attached to, pretty much. So you have to let go of attachments. And that's not what I want to go in too much details today. I don't want to talk about how they want to completely reduce attachment, but I want to talk about the suffering and why the suffering brings you good. Now, I didn't like that statement at first, and like most people would be, I think I would be offended by such a statement, especially in Western culture. Imagine if your psychologist said that to you. You would be absolutely upset. You would not be happy if you told your trauma to a psychologist and your psychologist decided to tell you that it's okay, your suffering brings you good, you want to suffer. The more you suffer, the more greatness will come into your life. You don't want that from a psychologist, and it's actually very unethical. So already I find that very interesting that Buddhism and temples can give teachings that psychologists in Western cultures ethically can't say. And I find that absolutely amazing, absolutely beautiful, and such a gift. If you can go to a place that is very Buddhist and go in a temple and have some learnings, whether or not it's from a monastery or from the Dalai Lama or from a guru, who knows. But having these teachings is amazing because they don't actually have that ethical thing that they have to follow to make sure that they don't upset you. So the fact that they clear up, just say, yeah, suffering, it's good, it's great, it's fine. That's what the universe wants. The more you suffer, the more greatness will come in your life. And that I find beautiful. that I find absolutely amazing. Like, how cool is it that somebody can just say that and it's fine? But anyways, that aside, me finding that absolutely hilarious and great, I started exploring my life and I started thinking, does that actually resonate with my life? Is that actually true? Can we really say that suffering brings greatness, that suffering improves your life? And I specialize in trauma clients. And you look at people that have undergone trauma, and do you really look at them and think, wow, like it made them so much better as a person? No, often you see when healing somebody from trauma, you will see that they are completely broken down, that they are not the most powerful people. He said that suffering brings courage, and that I absolutely agree with, and it brings in bravery, and I agree with this. But does your trauma really create this amazing power within you? Does it actually bring greatness into your life? And the thing is, often you look at a short term, like as soon as somebody has undergone trauma and they're completely broken down, there's nothing that can bring them up. And that's a moment of weakness, which is fine. We all need a moment of weakness. We can't just be strong all the time. And we need that moment of weakness to actually deal with the emotion itself. So I don't want to ever call that moment of weakness actually weak, because that moment of weakness is beautiful, it's needed, it's powerful. It is so, so, so powerful. So when we look at that, it's still not an experience that you needed to have. But isn't it an experience that you needed to have to grow as a person? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you learn how to manage it in the right way, and if you find somebody that is able to guide you in the way that you need to be guided. Because if somebody that has undergone trauma isn't guided in the right direction, it can be extremely hard to guide yourself and to get to the better side on your own. So I believe that with that statement, we do need to have some kind of guidance and some kind of help. And I guess with the Buddhism side and the Buddhism belief, Buddha is the person that you're going to have to trust in guiding you there. Or if you have a guru. Gurus can help you to get there. And in Buddhist countries, seeing a guru is quite common, although very, very hard to eventually get, because they kind of have to find you. It's not something where you just walk up there, but you can end up going to communities. Like I went recently to an Osho community, and Osho was once a guru and still is. He's just up in another life. So you can go into these little communities, I guess, and get the help there. You can put your trust in Buddha, and you can pray, and you can do all of that. And I guess for them, that is their guidance. And in Western culture, we have therapists, and we have people like me, a hypnotherapist, and you're just going to really want to have that guidance to get to where you want to, because otherwise dealing with suffering on your own is extremely hard. And do I agree with the statement that suffering brings in goodness, and the more you suffer, the more pleasure you get in your life? And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, absolutely, it's true. It's very, very true. But you have to be one of the strongest people, one of the most powerful minds to get there. Doing it on your own, like I said before, is going to be extremely hard. It's doable, but it is extremely hard. So the Dalai Lama will say that, the Buddha will say that, and gurus will say that you know, that the suffering will bring you goodness. but that is because they are near enlightened souls. So if you are a near enlightened soul, this makes a lot of sense, and because it is doable for people who have that inner power to get there. But to get that inner power to get there, it is so hard. It takes so much time, so much patience, and it takes prioritizing your soul, your spirit, and your body for a very, very long time. And we live in a society now where nobody prioritizes their body, their soul, and their spirit. You know, we prioritize work, we prioritize stress, we prioritize social life, we prioritize everything. And to get in that space where suddenly your suffering becomes your happiness, you're going to have to spend so much alone time and so much time learning more about yourself and connecting to yourself in a way that nobody else has. And I look at my life now and I think to myself, yes, indeed, my suffering has made me the happiest person on this earth. And why did that happen? Why does it make me the happiest person on this earth? And that is because I suffered long before my biggest trauma in my life. And I was fighting for the will to live until that biggest trauma. Then I had that big trauma, and suddenly it's not that I was fighting the urge of not wanting to live anymore, but I was actually fighting for my life, and it was a complete 360. And that biggest trauma made me see how important life is, and it made me see how life can really, really be, how terrible life can be. And now I can only compare it to then. And every single day since that trauma has been better than back there. So I have this huge suffering where every single day is better than that one. And if I compare it to that, happiness comes in. And remembering from where I used to be versus to where I am now is such an incredible difference. It's such an incredible experience. It's such an incredible way of being. And now I live in a state where I don't cry because I'm upset. I cry because I'm happy. I am so happy that I cry. I cry a lot, and I cry happy tears of joy, because that feeling of happiness that I get, it is such a strong feeling of joy and happiness and freedom that I am so grateful. So grateful. And that's why I'm not crying. I cry of gratefulness because I've managed to get to this spot. And back when I was suffering, I never saw myself ever being in that spot. Now that I'm in this spot, I know how much suffering can be, how a bad day can really look like, and how a mediocre day can really look like. So suddenly I am so grateful because every day of my life is so much better than back then. It's so much more beautiful than back then. It's so much more powerful than it was back then. So indeed, my suffering was so bad that now my happiness is so good, because I am so grateful every single day of my life that I am not suffering like I used to. And suffering makes us so grateful of the good moments. And sometimes you have such a good moment for so long, and then life brings you something back again and makes you completely go back down into a dark hole. But that's beautiful, because that's life trying to remind you of the happiness that there is, and that reminding you that you should be grateful of every day. Because if every single day you are happy, nothing wrong is going on, you're not going to be grateful of that anymore, because you no longer know the difference between unhappiness and happiness. I don't know what else to say on how powerful having suffered for so long and so much has created this sense of complete and utter happiness within myself. And I truly don't believe that happiness is living a lifestyle where everything is perfect and everything is fine. That's not going to bring you joy. That's not going to bring you happiness. It's not going to bring you gratefulness. The thing that's going to bring all of that is having hard days and having hard moments and knowing that you can push through those moments. And actually, I love to say that I am the happiest woman on this earth. And why do I say that? And why do I know that I am truly happy? It's not because I don't have bad days, and it's not because I don't have mental breakdowns, because, oh my God, I still have them. All of last year was a mental breakdown. But the reason that I am the happiest person alive is because when I have an emotional breakdown, when I am sad, when I do have something happen to me, I know I'm going to be okay. I trust myself to know that I will be safe and that I have my back and that I will be okay. And that alone is the most powerful thing you can have within yourself. It's the most powerful trust, to know you have your back and to trust yourself. And that's what I call happiness. Knowing that in moments of sadness and moment of darkness, you have yourself and that you will bring yourself back up when it is time. And that's powerful. So powerful. Knowing that I will be happy again. And once again, that only comes from suffering. So, yeah, Dalai Lama made me think a lot and made me reflect a lot. And although at first I was taken back and I really didn't want to agree with what he was saying, all I had to do was process the information that he has told me, sit down in my alone time and my alone space and really analyze my life, where I am now versus where I was before, and see that actually the Dalai Lama was onto something. He knew what he was saying, and that there is a teaching like this. Now, I want you to take that into consideration and look at it into your own life and process whether or not that statement is true for you. And if it's not, because you're still in a state of suffering, I want you to try to go within yourself and try to process what is going on in your life right now, and try to learn to trust yourself and love yourself and trust in yourself so much that you know you will get out of this dark hole that you're in. Because we all have the potential to do that, and it will always get better. And I used to hate it when people said that. I used to hate it so much. But the thing is, it is, and it's powerful. But the life will be a roller coaster. It will be up and down. But knowing that you have yourself and that yourself is powerful enough to build yourself up is all you need to know to get yourself in such a good spot in your life. Reflect on this, and I hope that this statement was as powerful to you as it was to me. The reason I wanted to make a video on this is because I had posted a photo on my Instagram where the caption was about this teaching that I had just gone through and the realization that I just had. And I had people tell me, thank you for posting that, because I really needed to hear it. I've been suffering and this is what I needed to hear. So I decided to make this just to have different platforms to educate more people on this, and see whether or not this statement resonates with you. You don't have to resonate with it, you don't have to agree with it, and you don't even have to agree with my own point of views, because obviously mine are just as personal as yours are personal. And I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on this to try to bring some goodness and some hope and some love and happiness from dark moments in life. And I want to end it here by just saying that things will get better and things are brighter on the other side. And that healing takes a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of guidance. And if you're doing it all on your own, it can be very hard. And sometimes you just need to find the guidance that you need and the right person to guide you there. So hopefully you find this guidance. I am always willing to be your guidance, to be a teacher, or to be a therapist. So you can always check out my website, www.gayasteaching.com, and I will link it in the description as well. So if you want me to be your guidance, I am there and I am ready, and I will love you and give you compassion, but you can do this whether or not I am helping you through it. So namaste, you guys have a beautiful day and a beautiful time, and I will see you next time. See ya.